Alright, so first one on the list tonight is a 2013 or 14 MacBook Air that has issues charging. So the customer replaced the battery several times. It will charge randomly. Sometimes it'll charge, sometimes it won't. It won't charge when it's off. It's just not right. They replaced the battery a few times. It'll charge, then it'll stop charging, then they have to replace the battery, or not replace the battery, unplug the battery to get it to charge again. So we're going to go through and see if we can figure out what's causing that on this one. It's not going to be really a matter of figuring it out. It's just going to be a matter of wiping out the old circuit, the ISL, probably the MOSFET that controls charging, and just rebuilding that, because that could be numerous causes. There was definitely corrosion on the trackpad cable. Replace the trackpad cable, replace the keyboard. Replace the trackpad cable, the keyboard, and the trackpad, which is just the whole top cover assembly. It does power on normally now. Before it wasn't powering on, but it does now after that. So we have the charging issues. We did have some corrosion near the SMC, so we are also going to give the SMC a little reflow. Now that's not harmful. It's not like reflowing a graphics chip. A lot of you know that by now. It's a perfectly, okay thing to do, is to reflow the SMC if you suspect corrosion. In this case, there was corrosion right by it, so we could kind of put two and two together, and that could be corrosion under the SMC. So we're going to give that a light reflow, then that'll go in the ultrasonic cleaner, which I better turn on before I forget. So let's pull this board out. Then we have a few others to go through as well. So I want to try and get this one done quickly as possible. Hopefully I won't get any dead ISLs, but no, I don't think we will. Before I forget, let me share and also I've made some changes, so the video output, let me know how it's doing, if it's any smoother than it was prior, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be much smoother now. So the issue is I have in my small form factor Lenovo desktop a Quadro 410 with 512 megabytes of VRAM. So where's the MacBook group? I'm just going to share the live stream on a couple of pages just for marketing. Then we will get started. Okay, let's pull this board out. There shouldn't be anything. More screws. This heatsink on MacBook Airs, where the Wi-Fi cables are, that always gets bent, and the stupid Wi-Fi cables that prevent you from taking it out. I can't stand those. Video output low. How's the stream doing? What's going on? Drop frame 0, CPU 65%, 37 frames a second. I don't see what the problem is. So it's saying video output low, so let me know what's going on. Alright, so video. This thing, YouTube always says video output low, and it's always, I don't see a problem here. Is drop frame 0, frames per second is steady, so I'm just going to ignore that. Scratchy video, oh great, Time Warner. Alright, let me lower the bit rate. Down to 2000. So let's see how this is. Maybe if I shut off, so I'm gonna shut off the thing just to get a little load off the network. So let's have a look. So let me know. I lowered the bit rate. Let me know if that's better, if it's worse, if it's too grainy to watch. It should be in 1080p. Alright, so now I was working on this a little bit. There was some corrosion by the SMC, so yes, I am guilty of touching up just a little bit right here. You can't even see that. This is lousy camera. I'm gonna buy a new camera. This is lousy. Alright, hopefully it'll stay. So there was some corrosion right at this probe point right here. It was all green, so I put some solder on it, and that tells me if it got there, it probably got under the SMC. And the SMC could cause intermittent weird charging issues, but the ISL just cleaned it a little bit. Didn't really have any corrosion. I don't know why I did that, but we're going to start here. We're going to replace the ISL. The ISL 6259 is the charge controller IC. It controls battery charging, and it controls your main power rail, PP bus, G3 hot. It communicates with the SMC, and if anything gets messed up between the communication of that and the SMC, you're going to have charging issues. Alright. Fume extractor so I don't set up the fire alarm. Even though the fire alarm will probably go off. Looks good, okay. Still saying video output low. Alright, just being weird. Okay, let's rip this ISL off the board. No signs of liquid under the ISL, but that chip doesn't really need liquid under it. Half the time you'll get liquid on another area of the board and that chip will be dead for no reason anyway. So my handle is getting loose, the tip is getting loose. It's from all these HDMI ports I've been doing and using force to on the PS4 HDMIs, what a lot of people do is they just heat up the bottom and then drop the port in, then there's a chance you'll mess up alignment and have to get a new port. I don't do them that way. take the port off, use low melt, work it down in the posts, because there's no way you'll wick that out without low melt. And you kind of have to push the iron down in there and use a good amount of force to work the low melt into the other solder. So it's kind of wearing out my handle. It might just be the hand grip. I don't know. Hopefully it's just a hand grip, but I need to get a micro pencil anyway, so. Still saying video output low, which is weird, but no buffering. Yeah, this camera is garbage. I'm gonna buy a new one because I can't see. Well, I'm sure you guys can't see the picture very well, so I'll probably buy a new one. Is there a resistor supposed to go right there? Because that, I think I bridged that. Is there a resistor that's supposed to go there? Let's look. No. No more rummaging through donor boards. I actually organized all of them really nicely, so they so I won't have to rummage at the bottom. They're all have a 13 inches in the slot. Let's have a slot for each style board. So 13-inch retinas are in one, 15-inch retinas are in another, and so on. It's pretty nice. Grab a brand new ISL 6259. When handling ICs before the mounted, make sure you ground yourself before them. I mean, to handle PC boards, you don't need to be grounded. It's completely unnecessary. But the ICs, they can get killed a lot easier than the boards. The boards, I've gotten static shocks off boards, and they work fine. That's happened a few times. Literally, I touch the board and I get a zap. There's a lot of ESD protection factored in the board manufacturing. It's mainly the stuff before they're mounted are really sensitive. Okay, coming across on 1080p clear. Okay, that's good. Now it's back to green, so. My Quick Station is over a year old now. You don't run away, you get back to it. Come on. lined up or not. Let's look. Good enough for me. Now, what we gotta do is get all that excess from out under there. Sometimes what I notice is they will read, the voltage will read low. Like there's a dead SMC, it'll be 12.23 or 12.18 or 12.40 or some nonsense like that. And it's actually the flux on the board or the flux near the chip messes with it. I don't know why. And then the voltage goes normal after ultrasonic, which I never really understood. Do you press down the ISL at all? Yes, I just did. So I think you made that comment before I did it, but yeah, you need to press it down. I've tried to do it without it, but it just never comes out right. So yeah, press it down. Press it down so you get the blobs up the side, like there is now. There should be some nice solder blobs up the side. What we're gonna do is wait for the iron to get hot. Clean up real nice. And there. Next, oh, I've got to take the SSD out. Don't forget to take the SSDs out before you start working on them. Next guy we're going to replace is this MOSFET right here. I think, let me look up, but I'm pretty sure that's for charging. Let's first power test this and make sure I didn't screw anything up. Safety charger. That's always a good sign. But the real question is our voltage 12.56? Or is it 12 point something weird? $9.14? Huh? It's not supposed to be 9.14. What's up with that? $9.14. That's unusual, but okay. Is it my DC inboard or charger? It could be. Yeah, 9.17 volts. Oh, okay. Whatever. That's unusual. Let's try a different charger. I have a charger around here. Well, buried. Let's connect a battery and see what the voltage on battery is. The voltage on battery is 7.9. Now let's see what happens if we connect the charger with the battery. Drops to 9 volts. Okay, whatever. That's weird. Who cares about that? Let's continue on. 8.69, that's just some weird, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I don't think it's related. Let's continue on. So it could even be this MOSFET right here. But no, my guess is just the charger. The charger would do that. Alright. Schematic time, so 820, 3437. 3437 and the 3437 and 00165 are the identical board pretty much. The only difference is the programming on the SMC and the CPU. The 3437 uses a Haswell CPU and the 165 uses a Broadwell CPU. Alright, so board view. Display capture. Alright, my frame rate's probably going to drop when I do this. Let's see. Alright. So Q70 Q7155, let's find that on the schematic. So Q7155, where is that going to be? This is Q7130. This is what's responsible for sending out our main power rail. And then here is Q7155, which is to and from the battery. This is what's basically going to allow the voltage to go to the battery from charging. So if something's funny with this, it could cause intermittent charging. The most likely cause of intermittent charging is something funny with the ISL, which we replace, but just in case, we're going to replace Q7155 too. It takes about 30 seconds to replace, so we're going to go ahead and replace that. And then we'll see if it charges, which it probably won't because I'm recording something, and whenever you record something, you will notice that nothing will work. So there's always going to be issues when you record something, every single time. Is that Flux coming out of the side, or is that something else? We're also going to give the SMC a light reflow. See what I just did? Look at what I just did. Look at the mess I just made. I ripped a pad too. Are you kidding me? This is why you use Flux before you desolder anything. Alright, now I'm going to have to rebuild that area. Oh well. Ground. Who cares about ground? Okay. And then I flicked off something else, didn't I? Why did that happen? fine, whatever. So I'll have to replace the thing for Thunderbolt. What happens when you record stuff? How are those 10 ohm resistors? They'll be fine because it turns on, runs off the battery, charges the battery most of the time, but sometimes it doesn't, so. So since this is a BGA chip, I'm going to have to make some what I'm just going to put a little more solder there, then I'm going to try and take it off the board intact. So I don't have to mess with what am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just talking. I'll take it off the board in a manner that won't disturb the solder balls underneath. You just have to use a lot of heat and a lot of flux, and it should come right up. And my wick frayed out and made a mess. Now those like. Those resistors, usually it's not going to turn on at all, or it won't run off the battery, or won't charge, or it wouldn't run off the charger or battery, or it would. And this wick sucks. Do I have any energy chemicals left? I don't know. So the wick you just saw was Goot. This is MG Chemicals. Look at the difference. I mean, MG Chemicals is the better wick, I think, at least in my opinion. Didn't even see it, wasn't even in frame. Sorry about that. That's enough on that pad. Let's get some flux. Alright, so what we did is ripped this pad right here, which is my first rip pad in a long time. So what I'm going to do is just scrape a little bit. What is that even for? That it's for Thunderbolt. I don't even care about Thunderbolt. I guarantee you that most people that have MacBook Airs do not use Thunderbolt. Yeah, the MG Chemicals is a nice wick. It's my favorite wick that I've used so far, I think. Second favorite is Tech Spray, but the Goot just did not seem seem very good to me at all. It just seemed I have some MG Chemicals Flux as well, but when I first started I used MG Chemicals Flux and I thought it was, you know, good. It's honestly comparable to Amtech. I mean, if I had a choice between Amtech and MG Chemicals, I'm going to choose Amtech, but if I had, you know, my second choice would be MG any day. The thing about streaming is, when I stream, you may not see the board fixed, okay, but you know what happens after I stream? The minute after I stream, I think about what would cause that and I go back and fix it. Let's raise the temperature. And another thing is stuff like this, like the MOSFET slipping and taking off components, that almost never happens unless I'm streaming, of course. What board is this? Is this something recoverable? No. There's half the stuff stolen. It has a CPU, but half the stuff stolen, so we'll use some MOSFET. Let's get some more flux down. I used a little bit of flux on this one. Now we gotta zoom in on that. Yep, that's a rip pad, alright. Some jumper wire, which now I don't have to rummage for it because I put it in a new spot. I'm never losing stuff anymore. I need to get some new tweezers. another thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, just being honest in business, right? You know, there are still shops that I hear about charging for GPU reflows and stuff, and you know, it's like, come on, you know, what are you doing? Okay, charging for a reflow. You know it's not going to work. You know it's going to come back, and yet you still charge a customer full price or some ridiculous amount for something that you know is going to come back. You know, just to you know, to gamble and say, well, what if I don't? What if I, you know, what if I make this much money and it doesn't come back? It's like, you know what? Never take money over integrity and honesty. You know, seriously. Stop reflowing graphics chips and charging for it. You know, I mean, sometimes someone will bring me a 2011 or something, and I will reflow the graphics chip, but I'm not going to charge the customer. I'm going to tell them, hey, you know, this has around 3 more months left, you know, get a new computer. And it just, so many, or not, it's dependent on your area too. It's still something that you see as shops charging for that, you know, for reflows. Very hot GPU, 100% solution. I was always amazed at some of the good repair streaks on Lewis's channel when he is live. Yeah, live streaming is hard. This wire had too long, so I'm going to move it back just a hair, and I can move on. And by all means, you know, with the, we were talking about repair streaks, I can have a $90 for a diagnostic non-refundable. That's ridiculous. In fact, I heard, I don't know the direct name of the shop, Anthony, but it was a place in Santa Barbara, an AASP in Santa Barbara, that customer brought their computer to Apple. They said it needs a new logic board. Okay, no trackpad and keyboard. Okay, you know, maybe you have an issue with USB or something. They said they didn't spill anything on it, and I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, we all know what we think when someone says they didn't spill anything on it. So I get it. The board is absolutely clean. There's no liquid damage whatsoever on it. Apple quoted for a new logic board. This AASP in Santa Barbara apparently brought out a burn component and said, hey, look, this is the component that's burned in your computer. So what I did is I disassembled it, and you know, of course, unplugged the trackpad cable and everything, and then when I reassembled it, it worked. So either two things happened. When I unplugged the battery, it reset it or something, or the trackpad cable wasn't seated, and they quoted a new board for that, and the place in Santa Barbara lied and brought out a burnt component when there was nothing burnt anywhere in that computer. It worked perfectly fine, reseated the trackpad cable, and it has not come back. And this is what I mean, again, honesty. It's like, no, it's absent from so many people now. Like, is it really hard to just, you know, tell the truth? It's like, yeah, okay, you might mess up on one job, but you know what? Who cares? You know, you don't lie to the customer to make more money. It's not right. Be good. Soldering this is going to be a challenge. I don't know the name of the company. Most likely, well, the thing is, the trackpad cable, I didn't replace it. I just reseated it and it worked. I don't know if moving it around did it or something, but it has not come back. And, you know, Apple quoted $925 for that. Wasn't a board issue. They claimed it was a board issue. Of course, I didn't even charge that. I just said, you know, cover shipping because chances are it'll come back. But it hasn't, so. Why does your customer Aaron need a new logic board? What's wrong with it? Why are you replacing boards, Aaron? System booted and operated properly, just crashed on escape F1. Did you try and change the keyboard? I think you did. And did you try and change the trackpad and trackpad cable? Oh, okay. I remember that. You messaged me about that. Alright, that might work. Keyboard resolved the problem, no issue? Yeah, of course, because it's just a keyboard issue. Yet you have scammers. You have scammers that want you to only bring your computer to them, Apple, that don't know what they're doing when diagnosing anything. Just yesterday on the MacBook group I ran, Apple said that someone was posting, well, this logic board was already confirmed bad to be, the logic board was confirmed by Apple to be bad. I said, wait a second here. Don't count on that. Alright, I'll come back and recheck that, but I'm pretty sure this is good. Next thing that I turned, see, okay, here's one thing. You know how before I replaced this MOSFET I said it's only going to take 5 minutes? Well, that's the worst thing you could possibly say. Yeah, as far as home-based, what kind of plant? Oh, plant, I'll show you the plant. There's a plant right there. So I said this would take 5 minutes and I ended up screwing up. That's why you must never say something is going to take a short amount of time, because guess what's going to happen every single time. And now I took something that I should have been done with already and halfway through the last one. we have to kind of try and make some balls here since it didn't come out how I wanted it to. So let's just that. Flux. Yeah, I'd honestly with doing retail is sounding less and less appealing to me. Just because of the fact that retail customers can be fairly annoying. I mean, if you have somebody to do it for you, perfect, but sometimes they can get annoying. Don't double dip the chip. I have no idea what you mean. I don't do retail either. It's all business to business mail-in, or if end users want to mail stuff to me, fine. But if you say, well, can I come to you? Nope, don't do that. Patience and restraint, exactly. I mean, I don't, for every like 10 repairs, I'd say probably do that's not soldered properly. I want to be the faceless tech in the back. They don't have to know I own it. Exactly. I mean, people like people looking at me, they're not gonna think I'm the owner. I mean, they're gonna think, what's this? Some $8 an hour paid person, and they could think that, I can't tell if that's touching. I don't think it is, actually. But yeah, like when I have retail, ideally what I want is somebody to handle the front, take apart the computers, and hand them to me. I don't want, I mean, if I have to deal with somebody, I will, but, this is my last attempt. Then I'll move on. We don't need Thunderbolt. Yeah, look at that, how messed up that is. Whatever, it could be messed up. It's probably gonna go on fire. We'll try it. Let's see, will it go on fire? Let's see. Is it gonna go on fire? I have like 15 consoles to do, Aaron. No fire. Okay. We'll come back to that and check that later. Let's put it in the case. Let's see if it charges. Why was the FET replaced? Because it's having intermittent charging issues, and that's the FET that I suspect is bad for charging issues, so. That in the ISL, so we're going to see if it charges the battery properly. You know what? Yeah, we'll try this. This battery should be 100% charged. It's okay. Yeah, 15 PS4s. I have 2 here now, and they're giving them to me in 2 at a time. I haven't found any roaches yet, so, which is a good sign. And let me tell you something, the HDMI port, the first time I soldered one, it was probably the hardest thing I soldered in a while. Ship quick. Yeah, I use the low melt. I have to use the low melt. I pull the port off with the quick, easy. Then I use the low melt to help me wick all that stuff out of the pads. Out of the posts, I mean, because that can be a pain to get out. And then I just solder the port normally. Alright, so as you see, well, no, you don't see, because as you see, it still runs, and I haven't screwed anything up yet. Alright, if this says plugged in, not charging, it's probably the SMC. So we're just... Whoa, what was that? Battery is not charging. Okay, that's probably the SMC. And hey, it just shut off as soon as I did that. Yeah, okay, so this is probably the SMC. Oh well, this will go in the slot for later. I don't want to deal with that right now, so let's see what's next. Okay, I want... Alright, Anthony, we're moving on to yours now. So which one do I want? The one someone buried in the sand, or the one I'll take the one that's buried in the sand first. Let's see. A1466. This is okay. This is the one that that does the weird I/O thing. I may get that one today. This is A1502. Okay. So you said, oh man. Yeah, no kidding. This does look like it got buried in the sand. I mean, I don't get how the camera doesn't pick this up, but I mean, there's sand all in the vent everywhere. How? I don't get how this stuff happens. I mean, I don't know. I don't get why, how it got in the sand or how that happened. So it does not start on power button push. Green light in the charger. Now I get nothing at all. No image, nothing. Alright, now. Yeah, I like that. I mean, Anthony. Well, what's wrong with this thing? It works. No low bat at all. This is the funny thing. This happens all the time. I mean, I just use bubble wrap on the computers, but those it wasn't doing this plugged into the charger before. Hey, look! I just unplugged the charger, and look. But it's not booting either. And now I get this. What's that mean? I've never seen that before on a Retina. Okay. Let's try this again. Alright, so something with that, I don't know. Alright. Do I have any open slots? Yes, I have some. Slot 5 is open. No, there's no RAM or hard drive. The issue with this one is it was showing battery low intermittently, so we're going to take a look and see what could cause that. But you know what this tells me? This is actually telling me something important. So the fact that it works after being bounced around in the back of a FedEx truck tells me that there could very well be a loose solder joint or corroded solder joint, or it's possibly there's a piece of sand under the SMC that got knocked loose now. So let's have a look. As far as that X thing, that's software. Sand management control, yep. don't get how. The thing is, the sand is actually conductive. There's, you know, iron and just conductive, so. This was ultrasonic, I think, correct? What I have a question: did they seriously bury this in the sand? Because I don't get how this much sand got in here. I mean, if it was just sitting, I don't think that would. I don't think just sitting in the sand would do it. Since this is working now, let's do the air. Will it start off the battery though, is the real question? Yeah. Okay, so now it's showing low battery. Okay. So it is showing low battery now. And let's see, is the battery voltage really low? We're gonna take this little, look at this. Wow. Check this out. So this is the battery. I have to say, I've never seen this before. This is the battery cover. That's a lot of sand. Alright. So, first things first, let's make sure the battery is actually low. It may not be charging, who knows. So, 0 volts, 0 volts, 3.4 volts, 9.74 volts, 9.69 volts, 9.73 volts. Okay, so I don't really think our battery is low. So let's pull the board. So Anthony, quick question. This was left to charge, right? And it, did I read the notes? Yes, I did. But you said PP5VS or S5 was missing. If that was missing, it wouldn't turn on. It wouldn't do anything. But I'm thinking this is a PM bat low issue. But I'm more confused as to why. I'm almost thinking this is a not charging issue. So let's run Apple hardware test and let's see if it comes back battery not charging properly. Because if it comes back battery not charging properly, then we know that it's an issue with the ISL, the SMC, or something of that sort. Yeah, it starts fine off the charger. I almost wonder if sand got under the CPU and is messing with power grid signals or something. Oh, you know what? So the keyboard doesn't work. The keyboard doesn't work, and that could screw with our SMC, which can cause the bat low issue. So let's try something. Let's unplug the keyboard. Holding down D does not. The fact that yeah, the keyboard's not working. Or at least some of the keys aren't working. So now what I'm going to try and do, let's unplug our keyboard and let's hit the power pads. Do I remember where the power pads are on this board? better check before I go shorting some random component. Okay, so power pads. This is an 820-3476 or something similar to that. 3536, all the same thing. SMC on off SMC on off L. It's over here. Or did I just short the wrong one? Oh, this is a different board. My mistake. This should be a 4924, I think. 820 4924. I don't want to lift the trackpad cable. No, I had it right. Alright. No, so it still shows battery low. Alright, so time to boot into my test drive. Where's the should be right here. Alright. Microwave board. Yeah, that. Funny thing is, like when I'm operating my radar, technically all the electronics are getting microwaved, and sometimes that thing runs for days on end, and it doesn't fail. So let's get our test drive, and plug it in. Oh man, there's sand in the USB ports. So we're going to boot off the test board, the test drive if we can, and I had a desktop, really nice desktop too, had powerful graphics, and I spilled coffee on it, worked, then I got busy so I put it aside, and I got the Ultrasonic water every time I used it, because the desk has holes in it, and every time I would take a board out it would drip down in there. The graphics card would work, it would randomly restart, then it would just not work at all. I actually took the time, I took that thing apart, ultrasonicked it, and the graphics card worked out of the ultrasonic. I refilled the VRAMs, and there's a ton of coffee flowed out of them, and it worked. So I have a powerful graphics back. This needs a new keyboard. At a minimum, it needs a new keyboard. So it won't boot off my drive. So what I'm going to have to do is pull the SSD out to force it onto mine. So yeah, this may need a new keyboard, or might need a new trackpad. I don't know yet. Honestly, if they put it in sand and needs all that, I don't know. Now let's everyone come to a common agreement here. If you're going to the beach, your computer does not want to come with you. Please do not bring your computer to the beach. Enjoy the outdoors. You know, enjoy the fresh airs or something. You know, you don't need to bring your computer to the beach, I don't think. At least I couldn't see it. Yeah, I mean, like, look at the Thunderbolt part. It's filled with sand. It doesn't look bad, it just is filled with sand. I'm gonna probably run this to the Ultrasonic again if I do any work on it, and this will be like 5 minutes at 70 Celsius to get all this sand out of it. I'm sure there's still some sand in everything. Yeah, like it's like I don't. Any time away from electronics, away from people bothering me, it's the better, you know. Don't you dare give me flashing question mark. There's a drive connected. Take a long time. Let's see what it does if it does boot off my drive. Yep, there we go. Yeah, like one thing I've been doing is, it's like about a week ago, I deactivated my personal Facebook page because I don't really want a Facebook account anymore. Not because any of the privacy thing, just I don't want it, you know. Then I realized, you know, there's so many people that come through me through there, and that's how a big portion of my business is promoted, so I can't deactivate it. Even though I want to. I can't. haven't been getting too many of the private message board repair questions. I kind of had to put a stop to it. It's at a point where it's like, I want to help, but I run a support group for free. You know, you could post there, but it just gets kind of overwhelming because on the group, there are much smarter people than me, and they're answering the questions. And you come to message me, and it's like, okay, I have safe boot. I've never seen that before, so it's booting into safe mode for some reason. Why would it go into safe mode? And what is my password? I forget. Keyboard's messed up. Yeah, I'm entering my password and it's not working, so the keyboard is screwed up. Alright, USB keyboard. Have a USB keyboard. Yeah, you know what? So this is going into safe mode because the keyboard is probably shorting and do I have an external? Yes, but I don't want to get it tonight. It's probably all the way down there and I don't want to go down there tonight. Whoa. I unplugged the drive and my monitor flashed. But anyway. Oh great, do I have a dying NVIDIA graphics card on my desktop? Why is the screen flashing? But anyway, I'm gonna work on the air. Because this one ain't gonna be fun. Do you keep spare keyboards and other case parts? It depends on the model. For Retinas, no, because I don't want to change those. No, if someone brings me one of those keyboards with all those rivets, that is not going to be done here. That will be done. That will be done by Anthony in the chat because I do not want to touch a keyboard on a Retina like that. Let's see. Where did I put the air? It's in one of these slots. Alright, let's... Yeah, it will be done there. I'm not even kidding. If I get a Retina keyboard, for repair, it will go to you. The ones with the screws I'll do, but I don't want the rivets. Yeah, but Aaron, the thing is, I like to keep my mind busy. I don't want just clipping, you know, because I'll get bored. Alright, so I've seen this before. It's usually the I/O connector is shorted internally. But usually when that happens, it's almost always going to have liquid damage in it or around it. Anthony, what's going on here? The fan is spinning and the I/O board is connected. And it boots just fine. So yeah, I fixed it. That's 380. Alright, let's see what's going on, seriously. So, green light and no fans, right? So, if you plug in the I/O connector, whoa, why is the fan spinning? The Hall effect sensor is on there and it communicates with here, so if it's sensing another lid, let's say another lid or a magnet, right? It's not going to turn on. Like, let's say if I plug it in right now, it's not going to turn on because it sends the Hall effect sensor. Now, if I unplug the I/O cable, it should turn on, or not. I'm doing SMC reset, or whatever. So, if I unplug this, it won't turn on. Let's unplug it completely. So with the I/O board connected, we shouldn't get a green light. We do because my charger's messed up. Okay, so it turns on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure what's going on. Let's try without the battery. So without the I/O, we get fans. Yeah, that's alright. So let's plug it back in. I'm thinking this is just the Hall effect sensor. I don't know. Or it's another case of this. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. This happens all the time where people send me stuff not working and it just magically works. So let's plug it back in. Yeah, and the fans spin normally now with the I/O board and connector. So this had a T-spill. Yeah, I mean, look, with the I/O board, the connector plugged in, it's booting. So I don't know. Let's see. Where's those notes? Where'd I put those? I had those in my hand earlier. Here they are. So, MacBook Air, T-spill, green light, no fan spin. Once I/O connectors is connected, the fan spins with no light. Placed. Let's see. So it's working now. So it had. Let's pull this board out and let's have a look. Since it did have a T-spill, it was ultrasonic. Let's see if there's anything else going on. Oh yeah, we've been having problems with our FedEx delivery, man. A while ago, someone sent us a laptop. They delivered it up the street. Okay, seeing it's delivered, I go to the FedEx sort facility terminal, not at the FedEx ground terminal, which really isn't FedEx ground. It's a trucking company that's doing business as FedEx ground. That's why you got to watch out with FedEx ground. They call the driver back. He goes and picks it up at the other person's house and brings it here. Okay, then yesterday, another one scanned delivered. It wasn't delivered, and apparently the driver scanned it, delivered, and didn't deliver it, and it showed up later. Yeah, it's funny how a nice jolt will make them work again. That's why if you ever see me tapping on a board or you know, tapping it against the desk, that's what I'm checking for to see if it'll work after a little hit. It tells me there's something loose, that solder joint or something. Let's have a look at where this had liquid, and then it's 10 o'clock, so it's time for me to go to sleep. Not go to sleep, but relax. Alright, so previously ultrasonic. Do I have any ambient recording of me while working without talking? No. What's the point of that? I need to talk and work or else I'll fall asleep. At least when I stream this late. Whoa. Alright. No, I honestly, I don't really care about the YouTube channel, about how many subscribers it has. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so where was the liquid on this? Let's have a look. It's okay, I remember that. Alright, so this cap, I don't think that's liquid. I think that's just ultrasonic damage. Not really damage, but yeah, I don't see anything. Looks pretty good. This had corrosion, I bet. No, that's just the flux in the factory, partially broken down. Yeah, this board looks good. Alright, so let's plug the I/O board back in, or a I/O board. And I don't think I'm going to be able to replicate this issue without any signs of liquid. Oh, that's funny. So now the funny thing is I get no light and no fan spin now. Yeah, check that out. Oh wait, there we go. So now we get a fan spin. And no green light. This DCM board looks questionable. Yeah, this DCM board is very questionable. This is mine. So let's see. Here that are mine. I think this is mine. This is mine. Nope. And the battery just fell out. Always put screws back in stuff that wire, I forget. Alright. I'll just pull it out of here. I'm pretty sure my DCM board, the one wire circuit's messed up on, because the test DCM board is one that I replaced for a reason. So delivered power, so. I don't know if it works. If I push, I don't know. With the I/O board connected, it works just fine. So look. I don't know. Just have them send it. Just have them send it with the FedEx guy around the block. That'll work. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be fine. I/O cable connected. Yes, the I/O cable is connected. Everything's connected, and it still works. So I'm gonna have a close look at these joints. Maybe. Yeah, everything looks super clean. I honestly don't know. It works, so what's this? I don't know if that white is just the flux being broken down or if that's corroded. Decent source or used display. I have a MacBook Air screen if you want it. But anyway, I think that's it. I don't. This almost looks like it may have been corroded. I don't know. But it works now, so I'm gonna try and recreate it, and then I'll come back to that one with an external and external keyboard and take a look at that. But yeah, that's weird. (2012) Aero 13. I only have a. Might be the same one. See if it's the same one as a 2013, then I have one. Yeah, I do not see an issue here. I was thinking one of these may have been cracked, but no. I don't, yeah, SMC's okay, and SMC isn't really going to do that, I don't think. See, this right here, is questionable, because why is this like this? Was this really corroded and the ultrasonic washed it away? It looks more physical damage though. That one and that one. Seems like this one is sort of cracked. No, they're all like that. You know what? This almost looks like it was kind of corroded in the... I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's just Apple's lousy soldering. This is just Flux right here. Let's see. No, just look at the edge bonding. Yeah, I don't... No signs of liquid near the SMC. All the probe points look nice. They don't look red or anything. Yeah, given the fact that I was hoping it wasn't working, so then I could do diode mode to ground on the pins and see what's shorting, but no, I think, I don't know. I might go around and, touch up all the pins on the I/O connector, but not tonight. And then go from there. And then I'll come back to the SAN one and then another SMC one, and then I have more PS4s to do, more coming in. But no, that's it for now. I'm tired. I have to get up early in the morning, so I'm gonna end the stream for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.